Story 1. I found my husband's account on a forum where he wrote horrible things about me. Today I handed him the divorce papers. The terms of living separately I had written 6 months ago. After, in the middle of a fight, he told me, "We don't have kids. Be grateful you only have to clean up after me." That sentence kept spinning in my head over and over. Be grateful that I clean up after a grown man who is 10 years older than me. The next day, he apologized. Explained himself in detail. Said he didn't mean it. But maybe it's just my nature. But I don't believe that words said in moments like that are just hurtful. There is always some truth in them. And then, a few days ago, I found his account on a forum. I accidentally saw his username when he was showing me a screenshot. I tried not very hard not to memorize it. And only 2 days later, I decided to look. His comments were complaints about me. And there were posts about me. In one post, people tore him apart and called him a piece of garbage. While I was reading those comments, I realized how stupid I had been to think love could fix everything. I was 20 when I met him. He was 35. I thought people were exaggerating when they talked about the age difference. After all, my father, a single parent who raised me, never saw a problem with it. But then I realized he had been the same disgusting predator. As if my father had trained me to accept certain behavior is less than #0. 5 is greater than, so other men would have an easier time later. I'm drifting away from the topic. But once I came home early after a hard day and found out that my boss had been murdered by her husband. I walk into my home and see my lazy, unwashed husband. I tell him what happened, and I start crying. He didn't comfort me. He said, "We don't know why he did it. Let's wish them both luck and move on." Wish luck to a dead woman. I tried to convince myself he misunderstood. And it helped for an hour. While I cooked dinner, he started complaining that it was already 6:45 p.m. I said I don't understand how he can be hungry when he just ate half a bag of chips, which he left on the table. And instead of helping me finish cooking, B, apologizing and waiting, C, finishing the chips, or D, laughing it off, he threw the bag of chips at me. 7 years together. 4 years married. He had never done anything so openly disrespectful. Even with my low self-esteem, this was a line you don't cross. The chips scattered across the floor, which I had just cleaned. Whatever look I gave him was enough for him to grab a broom after 30 seconds. But not enough for him to actually check if he cleaned it properly. He didn't vacuum afterward. When I finished cooking and brought our plates to the table, I thought, wow, I really spoil him. All the time we'd been together is less than #0. 5 is greater than. I always served his food and brought it to the table. No one had ever done that for me. And then I stepped on a chip. It didn't hurt. Nothing dramatic. But I screamed. I don't know why. I just couldn't take it anymore. I ran to the office. Came back with the papers and a pen, put them in front of his plate, and walked out while he called my name. Right now, I am sitting in my car, eating a burger and fries, realizing I will have to start my life all over again. My life ended, and my love for him ended with it. I hope I don't give up. I hope I don't let him convince me to stay. If I start doubting myself, I will return and read this post. Because this was not a decision made in anger. This is what I must do if I want even a chance at a normal life someday. Comments. If he knows he can treat you however he wants, what would stop him from doing the same thing that your boss's husband did to her? Author. That's exactly what I was thinking. If one day dinner is late, he might hit me. He has never hit me. But sometimes during arguments, he makes this strange movement, like he's about to lunge, and his fists clench. I just couldn't believe he had zero empathy for a woman, killed by the person she trusted and shared her life with. I saw her on Monday. I would have never thought something like that could happen. Replying to a touching comment from a woman who went through something similar is less than #0. 5 is greater than. I am genuinely happy that your life got better. It feels like future me is writing to present me, especially in the part about the body. I didn't mention this in the post, but the burger and fries were a reward for me, because he always talked me out of fast food. Said I would get fat. and he'd stop loving me. So even when I asked for a burger, he ordered something like grilled chicken sandwiches instead. Thank you truly from the bottom of my heart. Seeing your comment and others from women who went through the same thing helps me more than I can express. Update 1. I actually made that post because I was finally leaving for good. Sorry if it seemed messy or unclear, but this isn't the first time I left him. This is the 4th. But now it's final. It's done. I've been saving money since the first time I left, 2 years ago. I'm not trapped anymore. When I left the second time, I realized that being a housewife gives me no power in a relationship. So I got a job. Back then it was just to even the scales, and to prove I could earn money too. Now it's my salvation. Half of our relationship was built on lies. He first said he was 8 years older, then 10, and only later the real number came out 15. And I kept trying to forget it, because according to my father, the only person I had ever talked to, people deserve forgiveness. I just want to know what it feels like to have peace in my own home. I moved from my father's house directly to my boyfriend, who later became my husband. I can admit that the life I ended up with my marriage is also my responsibility. Yes, my father planted a lot of this in me. Yes, he started the cycle. But I've been an adult for a long time. I could have stopped it. The fact that my husband and my father are the only 2 men I have ever had any relationship with, at 27 years old, that's on me. I was raised being told, when there are men around, don't look them in the eyes. Keep your head down. So I did. Because a good girl listens. That's how I was taught, and I knew nothing else. When the wave of feminism passed by me, how did I let my father push away all my friends? How did I allow both of them to isolate me from the whole world? 2 years ago, a girl about my age asked me for a tampon in the bathroom. I gave her one, and we talked for 5 minutes. Just a normal girl-to-girl chat. And I kept replaying that moment in my head over and over, until I realized, this is insane. All she did was ask what my favorite coffee was, tell me I was pretty, and say she liked my handmade earrings. I had a spare pair in the car. I gave them to her. She hugged me. That's it. But I held on to those 5 minutes, because that was the last time a conversation with another person didn't leave me feeling empty. I should have left for good when he said that graduate school was for men. I should have left when I got into woodworking and simple robotics, and he said I was probably transgender and that he couldn't be attracted to a woman who wanted to be a man. I just like the smell of freshly cut wood. I like making things. I should have left when I got accepted into the best university in the state. And he said that women would be happier if they stopped trying to compete with men. I should have left when my father died. And he told me I wasn't upset enough about the death of the man who used to strangle me over burnt food when I was 11. Our relationship got much worse after the wedding. When I told him what I had gone through with my father, I should have left when a man grabbed my ass at a concert. And my husband bought that man a drink afterward. I should have left when his friends discussed my body. And he joined in the jokes, and then said I shouldn't complain and should enjoy the attention while I still have it. I should have left when I said I wasn't sure if I wanted kids, and he told me I wasn't a real woman if I didn't want them. I should have left when he admitted that his coworkers followed me to my job to check where I really go. I should have left when he didn't speak to me for a month, communicating only through sticky notes. After I told him he was controlling, I should have left when I caught him sending nudes to a 19-year-old girl. I definitely should have left when that same girl replied to his photo, calling him a pathetic loser and saying she felt sorry for his wife. Aside from being disgusting behavior, it was honestly just embarrassing. Maybe I stayed because he knew how to create the illusion of effort. After I caught him sexting, he immediately signed up for therapy. When he said sexist things about women, I later saw YouTube videos in his watch history about unlearning sexism watched all the way through. And I thought, well, at least it's something, better than what my father ever did. At least he didn't hit me. At least he brought me flowers sometimes. At least he took me on dates. People told me that men are just like this. That you have to respect your husband. That a husband deserves full trust. And I believed them. I was wrong not to leave 100 times. I won't make that mistake again. After I left, he kept calling and texting nonstop. I went back to the house to get my things. I had my headphones on, and he suddenly ran up and ripped them off my head, and smashed my AirPods Max, which I had just bought. I just kept collecting my things, ignoring everything he said. Then I realized my passport was gone. He, of course, won't admit it, but I am 100% sure he took it. He refused to sign the papers. We argued for a bit, and I finally said it out loud. I don't love you anymore. I cannot love someone like you. I am a grown woman, and I do not want to be with you. He answered, You won't survive without me. Interventions. I am the only man who has ever loved you. You have nothing without me. I am the provider. This is my house. You have no money, no family, no friends? He is only right about the last two. I told him we don't have a prenup, and if he fights the divorce, I get half of everything. But if he signs the papers I gave him, according to those terms, he keeps the house and all the furniture, 3 out of 4 cars, and 80% of our savings and investments. I will leave and start over. I want to leave and start over. He, on the other hand, probably needs to think about a retirement plan that doesn't involve young women. This is more than he deserves, but I don't want to look at things that remind me of him. When he realized yelling and threats didn't work, he tried crying, and I almost fell for it. But then I remembered. There was a 42-year-old man kneeling in front of a 27-year-old woman who only ever wanted to be loved, respected, and treated with dignity. I gave him nearly 10 years of my life. Years full of nothing but loyalty and love. When he lashed out in anger, I responded with love. But now, I have no love left. I rented an Airbnb out of state, so he has no influence there. My job allows remote work for now. I am already starting to see a life worth living. There will be a lot of legal problems and hassle ahead. But that pain is still less than the pain of loving him. Thank you all so much for the kind words. Today I cried, and I felt more support than I have in my entire life. Story 2. I cheated on my wife with my secretary, who got pregnant from me. Turns out she mistakenly thought I was rich. I understand that I'm going to get a ton of hate for the age difference and how it all started, and I deserve it. But I really need real advice. Please don't tell me to go to therapy, she won't agree, and I can't afford it anyway. I need concrete things I can do to try to fix the relationship, either as a couple or at least as parents. I'm 42. If short, my ex-wife and I were together since high school. We have 4 daughters, all teenagers. Nearly my whole life I was a stay-at-home dad and worked part-time here and there. Until our youngest went to middle school. My wife agreed to invest in my dream project, a business I always wanted to start. I hired a secretary, 25 years old. We started an affair, and she deliberately got pregnant. Now we live together and have a small son. She's angry with me because she feels she was misled. She saw me as a business owner, driving a nice car, wearing good clothes, taking her to expensive places. She thought I was wealthy, and intentionally got pregnant, hoping I'd support her and help her bring her family from abroad. But in reality, it was my ex-wife and her family who had money. None of our houses were in my or my ex's name. We rented them from her parents for a symbolic amount, and later we were supposed to inherit them. Because of that, her salary, around $150,000 a year, wasn't huge for our expensive area, is less than #0. 5# is greater than, but it let us live very comfortably. I left the marriage with half our savings, about $25,000, my personal belongings, and my car. I lost the business due to lack of funds. And I didn't ask for alimony. I'm angry at my girlfriend too, because I also feel tricked. I thought she loved me. I honestly couldn't believe a young, beautiful woman was interested in me. She was extremely persistent. She pursued me first, and I thought it was love. Now it's clear she didn't care about me at all. When she found out I wasn't rich, all her affection disappeared instantly. Now we live in a rundown apartment with an old man as a landlord, and she still has to work. I lost my children, the love of my life, my family, our entire lifestyle, and my business. And all of it is completely my fault. She stopped sleeping with me the moment she realized I wasn't wealthy. I'm still with her because I feel like I have to get something out of all of this. At least a son and a partner. So this disaster wasn't for nothing. And because I don't trust her with the child. She would never agree to give me shared custody. And she's a terrible mother. I would be afraid for his safety, and who she would leave him with. Honestly, I don't even understand why she hasn't left me times yet. What can I do to improve the situation? Logically, I understand it would probably be better to break up and just co-parent. But I'm afraid for my son, and I feel ashamed of myself. Is there any way to fix this at all? I'm thinking about telling her we can have an open relationship. Let her sleep with whoever she wants. Go wherever she wants. As long as she keeps living here. That way my son would be with me 100% of the time. I work from home. I don't know if this is the right choice. Please tell me if this makes sense. Update 1. So, what do we have? I cheated on my wife. She filed for divorce. And now my daughters refuse to speak to me. I was always a very involved father. For most of their lives, I worked 1 or 2 days a week, and the rest of the time I spent at home with them. We were closer than they were with their mother. I always believed I never let them down. But I made a mistake. And now that everything came out, more than 2 years have passed, and I still haven't been able to fix anything. My oldest is stuck on the fact that now I have a little son. In my family, firstborns for generations were always boys. And she broke that tradition. Honestly, I always thought that was stupid. I never cared about that. I never dreamed only of having a son. But she took it very painfully. She is convinced I always wanted a boy, and that my new son replaced her and her sisters. That's not true. All my daughters said they don't consider him their brother, is less than #0. 5 is greater than, and don't want anything to do with him. All 4 feel betrayed and blame me for destroying the family. And they're right. It is times my fault. I take responsibility, but I can't change the past. And I don't know how to begin fixing the future. My ex has full custody, but by agreement I'm allowed to see the girls 1 weekend per month. They all go to therapy, and were advised not to force themselves to see me, and that I should respect their boundaries. So all this time, that's exactly what I've been doing. But there's still no progress. Does anyone have advice? My ex hates me, but she always supported the idea that the girls should stay in contact with me. She respects their decisions, but she writes me updates from time to time. My oldest will be 18 soon. She finishes school this year and will likely move for college. I feel like the time to fix at least things with her is running out. I know I am. I was a terrible husband, but I was a good father. I miss my girls. If someone went through something similar, how did it end? What would you recommend? Update 2. Good news. My girlfriend and I broke up. She went back to her home country and left our son with me. She refused to sign any official custody agreement. So I'm just hoping she stays there and never comes back. I'm almost certain that if she returns and starts demanding time with him, is less than #0. 5 is greater than. I'll have a good chance of keeping full custody. She doesn't even bother to FaceTime him. She doesn't try to stay in his memory. I feel sorry that my son will have to deal with a worthless or absent mother. But I hope I can take him to therapy when he gets older. Bad news. I did everything possible to try and see my daughters, but nothing worked. They completely refused to see me. They wrote me a letter together, saying how much they hate me, how betrayed they feel, that they will never forgive me, and that my son will never be their brother. They asked me not to speak of them to him, because they don't care to know him. They told me to forget them, and move on with my new family. Legally, there is nothing I can do. The youngest is 13 now, so she is old enough to decide for herself whether she wants contact. And forcing them is clearly not the right long-term solution. They also attached photos from their mother's wedding. My ex has no obligation to tell me about her personal life, but it still hit hard. There is now a man living with my daughters, a man I know nothing about. He is a family friend who has known them for 10+ years, so he's not a complete stranger. But it still hurt to see those pictures. A recent wedding, family photos with my girls. In the letter, they said that they now have a father, and they don't need me anymore, is less than #0. 5 is greater than. It hurts. I understand I have no right to be upset that my ex is moving on. I cheated. I destroyed the marriage. But their relationship progressed very quickly. And now I can't help but wonder. Maybe it started before the divorce? We will never know now. And it doesn't matter. My ex agreed to occasionally send me updates and photos of the girls. After everything I went through with my son's mother, I'm at least grateful that my ex is a good parent. And I don't have to worry about the daughter's well-being. Right now, I'm trying to focus on being a good father to my son, and just waiting for my girls to grow up. And maybe, one day, choose to contact me themselves. Maybe it will never happen. But I hope that when they grow older, they will understand me better and see everything in the context of life. That's it. Sometimes walking away is not weakness. It is the first real step toward peace. You deserve respect. You deserve kindness. You deserve love that does not hurt. Tell me in the comments what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and take good care of yourself today. You are watching Story Boar, real emotions, real stories.